Mr. Eggplant presents.
Hey guys, Tyler here, and it's finally the day. 7.2.5 came out today. Whoop whoop! And I decided to try to make a small kind of guide video, kind of like what I've been doing for each of the last major patches. So I wanted to make sure and record this video after the patches were or the patch was live. So I kind of thought about doing it early last week, and then got busy, couldn't do it. Anyway. So, I just want to kind of go over the patch notes really quick. There was not a ton of changes because, like, if you look in comparison to like a rogues and warlocks and stuff like that, a lot of people just got completely like there are just so many lines of changes where hunters really didn't get changed too much. Marksman's got changed the most out of all three specs, which, by the way, all three specs still very viable. Don't kid yourself if they're not. Survival, there's not as many survival players, but there's at least one really good one on my server, a small server, and he still is one of the top hunters on our server. So basically, the big changes for Marksman Hunters was our vulnerable buff, that basically is our bread and butter for damage. Uh, so it was aim shot first off was buffed by 55% because of the nerfs to vulnerable. Um, so aim shot damage was increased by 55%. Let's see. Let me see. Piercing shot was also increased by 55%, as you can see there, 1.8 million. As I just touched my screen to point it for you guys for whatever reason. So that was increased as well. Sorry, a little bit sick. Also the first aim shot, if you've not attacked a target, it was actually nerfed to, instead of doing 100% increased damage, was increased only by 50%. But let's be honest, if you use your wind burst to pull, or to cast prior to the pull, you really should never have to worry about that. Hey, it's Tner. Hello. Yeah, he is one of my YouTubers who decided to join my guild. So he's now the first best hunter on Zangermarsh, as my guild eloquently put it. Let's see here. Oop, I gotta hit all my buttons. There we go. Roster. Greeley is now second best hunter on Zangerscream. And Tner is first best, because, that makes sense. Anyway, so Patient Sniper was also nerfed. I am terrible hitting buttons today. Patient Sniper was nerfed, so every second was down from 10% every second to 6. So at the last second, you're only going to hit for 42% increased damage instead of 70, which overall the changes to Marksman benefit players who were not very good at getting those last second or two. So if you're really good like that, like I was, where I would almost always get at least one in that last second for each time it would go through, you're going to have a bit of an issue, or maybe some DPS loss for at least initially. But once you get the hang of things, it won't be so bad. So our weapon ability was increased by 55%. This is basically, there was a note in the patch notes, which I will link the patch notes below in the description, that basically said, hey, this is basically just to allow people who are having issues with, getting their DPS in that window. 1.3 million. Yeah, like those crits were normally hitting for like 1.8, 1.9 without my true shot, whereas now they're hitting, you saw, for like 1.3, 1.4. Unerring arrows on our weapon is also nerfed, which, by the way, rank 58 on my weapon, have all 40 artifact knowledge. Unerring arrows is now 12%, which, funny thing was, this has been nerfed twice now. It was 40%, 10% per rank, and then they lowered it to 4% per rank, and now they lowered it to 3% per rank because reasons. Because, hunters were the best DPS class, No, they weren't. But it's alright. Also, the vulnerable bonus as a whole was nerfed to 30%, down from 100. So there is significant DP or vulnerable nerfs, but at the same time, we should still be able to make up for that. Although I will say that Beast Mastery got a buff, and it might pull ahead of Marksman. Obviously, Tner is probably gonna, because he's a Beast Mastery hunter, or at least initially he was, and he might have better luck with Beast Mastery. I'm too far along in Marksman to worry about that right now, and I'll still do well. I may not be like top of the top, but it'll be fine. And also, Sidewinders was increased by 20%. So I know there's some people who still run with Sidewinders, still usable. I mean, if you can't get the arcane shot spam, as they like to refer to it as, then keep doing you. Like, if you're still doing well, go for it. So other things that got nerfed in the patch notes, because really, I mean, that was pretty much it for hunters, was our 2-set from Nighthold. As you see here, I was only running with a 2-set instead of a 4-set. It's every 45 focus you spend, up from 35, reduces a second on true shot. It roughly you lose about 15 seconds you would have had shaved off. It's not a big deal. In fact, it's probably 15 is probably actually a little high, so I would say maybe around 10. Let's see. Oh, so going into Tomb of Sargeras, that's really what this episode or video, I guess, is kind of gearing towards, would be to get your 2-set for Nighthold and get your 4-set for Tomb of Sargeras. So let's just find a tier piece here. Of course, I picked the one thing that doesn't have tier pieces. There we go. So, ooh, interesting. They changed our 4-set. That's for Beast Mastery. Never mind. Crisis averted. I'm just an idiot. It's fine. Anyway, 4-set. Aim shot reduces the cast time of your next aim shot by 15% and reduces its focus cost by 15%. And 2-set. Casting 2 aim shots in a row increases your critical strike damage by 15% for 6 seconds. Basically what that's saying is that players who want to do like the best DPS on a Marksman Hunter, you want to learn to always do 2 aim shots together. Like you want to do 2 aim shots in a row, as it says right there for the 2-set, and then your aim shot reduces the cast time of your next aim shot by 15% and reduces the focus cost by 15. I know I just said that, but so basically you're going to hard cast, quote unquote, that first aim shot with the 2-set. So where it'll be your, mine is currently 1.83, and then your second one is going to be that 15% less, and it's going to cost 15% less and take 15% less time. So you're gonna find points where once you get used to it, which is going to take me a little bit to get used to it once I get my 2-set, to actually play that way, get your 2 in at least every time, and he's trying out Beast Mastery. I will have to ask him what he thinks about his Beast Mastery, because I am pretty much in the dark for Beast Mastery, but that's alright. So definitely you want to get your 4-set as soon as possible in Tomb of Sargeras, and you want to learn how to do aim shots in bunches. Like with my opener, which I'll link that in the video. I'm not going to do any opener or anything like that today, because I always end up doing that in a video, where I try to get like 2 or 3 in every time, so it'll be fine. It'll take some getting used to try to eke in, 1 or 2 more aim shots. Because normally I would go like aim shot, arcane shot, aim shot. Where that doesn't work now. If I have my 2 and 4 set for Tomb of Sargeras, I'm going to want to pepper in the arcane shots if I want to take advantage of that bonus damage. So gear, I'm just going to talk about, I just talked about the 2 tier sets, which unfortunately I'm going to have to drop these, but such is life. Boots, still very much the best legendary for Marksman Hunters. I love these things. Best stats, best equip, look cool. There you go. Then 2A and 2B, I think I've said this in previous videos, belt, and these particular gloves. These gloves are probably going to be used a lot more now, since Tomb of Sargeras moves away from AoE intensive fights and moves more into single target bosses at different times. There's a few exceptions, which you know, I raid not tomorrow because this is coming out Tuesday, the 13th. Yeah, but on the 21st, I'll actually start my first raid into normal Tomb of Sargeras, and I'll be able to have some more information then. And of course, I'll probably release a video kind of like on my reactions and stuff like that, if you guys are interested in that. Let's see. So mastery, crit, haste, versatility, still pretty much, you know, the stat weights. I don't use pawn or anything. I did early in the expansion, but as you can see, I run with a really high crit chance. I run with a low haste. That's going to change just because haste is not as readily available on gear in the next tier. So it's more versatility. So I'll have to do some balancing on that, do some sim craft, and go from there. Boop. Talents-wise, let's see here. Talents-wise, Patient Sniper got nerfed, as I kind of talked about. I would still run with it. Sentinel's still pretty garbage. Explosive Shot would be nice if you can get everybody clumped up, kind of like on Tellarn, or Hypotenus, excuse me. If you don't get them all, you know, clumped up, it's probably not going to be that strong. Volley, I run with Volley a lot now because I'm lazy. Single target, Murder of Crows. Wow, it does 2.4 million damage now over 15 seconds. That's pretty nice. Barrage is still one of those, like, you might see it once, but probably not anymore. Piercing Shot, I don't run with it personally, but that does not say it's not good. It's actually, I'm pretty sure it's superior than Trick Shot, but the way I play, I don't play to drop 100 focus, that's when, if you use Piercing Shot, you want to use it at 100 focus each time you can, with as many targets marked as vulnerable as possible. Kind of like you would have done on a Spellblade Allurial. But I just don't run it myself. That's just a personal preference. Less I have to worry about with Trick Shot. Maybe it makes me stubborn. I don't know. But the overall, I'm noticing, I've been kind of talking to my fellow hunter over here, woohoo, that crits are down, marksman crits. I kind of talked about that earlier. Let me just see what some of my crits are with True Shot up. So 2 million, 2.4 million. Of course, that was not... Okay, so I got a 2.9 million crit in the last... What was that? The last second. So I got a 42% increased damage plus the 30 increased damage from just the vulnerable as a whole. So that was actually up. That's interesting. I'm going to have to do some more looking on that. And I think what I'm going to do, just to kind of wrap this video up, is I'm going to average the last month of my raid in Nighthold and then compare it to my raid I'm going to have tomorrow. And then kind of give you a nice comparison. I understand that's just one sample on one side versus 4 on the other, but it would kind of give you an, like, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's a nerf. We're getting nerf. We're getting this, where we're just getting some damage moved around. That would be probably the best way to explain that. So let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what's working for you, what you initially think of the patch. If you feel like we were being nerfed, if you think you're going to, you know, play a different class or play a different spec. And, yeah, until my next video, I'll see you later. Hey, come here. Take a picture with me. Yeah. Thanks, guys.